Welcome to holiness. Welcome home to holiness. We're being welcomed to the God thought. We are the God thought. This is the God thought. As Jesus helps bring us back to see what's always true. The God thought. And to release from the subconscious mind everything we think we want to believe that's not that. The no to the God thought. And Dyra was asking me to talk about relationships, like family relationships. And I know that's been coming up in awareness for a number of beings, which is a reflection of something for me to look at with him. And see, the play in consciousness is that love comes through bodies, certain bodies. This body means love, that body means love. And it's made to hide that we're love. We're the God thought. All the love there is. So as we go deeper with Jesus, it's a deep looking, which the ego does not want to see, that love is always here. So it plays in the currency of bodies being love. The way bodies move, the way certain bodies look, the way a body hugs me, what appears to be warm or not warm. I remember that thinking, looking at beings that were reflections in my mind of seeing what's true and thinking that feels so cold. And I realized that's a desire for infinite love to seem cold, for that experience. Infinite love is what is, beyond bodies and concepts and ideas. And it's the concepts that are the miscreation to push, to say no, to divine. See, it's going to define what love looks like, what love sounds like. So it makes these constellation of characters to try to prove that love is dead, that safety can be found through a constellation of bodies. Yeah, I can be safe if I'm in this relationship. Yet, so we don't see how those relationships, what we think is a relationship, is not relating at all. It's actually a way to stay dead. And Jesus opens up that chapter on holy relationship. The only relationship is with God and his kingdom. That's it. If supreme happiness is the one goal I would have. So instead of this horizontal, it's got to be this love and it's got to be shaped like this. It's, David calls it agape love. It's totality, divine expression, everything without exception. And I could see the play, and several of you are seeing through the play and consciousness of the family constellation, how we use families. This was a huge part of the experience here. Like having a family, 7 kids, you know, we would have family unions with 100 beings coming. and it serves its purpose. Like it could be in guidance to go to one of those family reunions. I can't say, but it's in guidance. Do you see that? He knows. He knows what's most helpful. And that's how attentive we need to be, because the play in consciousness is to gravitate toward what it perceives as pleasure and safety, which is a denial, which is a form of denial. So we just have to be really open to what he's showing us. If the desire is for God and his kingdom, I'm asking, is it sometimes helpful to step away from where we're finding safety? Yes, because you can't see how trapped you're in it. It won't be given for everyone, but it's helpful for some. And that's why this joining is really so helpful, because we can join and be clear at what's most helpful for healing the mind. Is that most helpful? You can talk to those that have seemingly, quote unquote, stepped away from some of those constellations. It may be for a time. Because we're so embroiled in the horizontal relationship. It's not till we really step away to see that our only true relationship is with God and his kingdom, supreme happiness. And like I say, it's just so miraculous. You see how it's given back, like with my brother, he's doing chapter 20 I can hardly talk about it. It's just so. Like the love is celestial in that relationship. Do you see? One thought, the thought of him is the thought of God. The thought of each of you is the thought of God. That's how it. Or Vicky Poppy, who's his partner, it's just thought of God. It just goes right to infinite. Instead of all of a sudden, the mind's going to usually take these things, and there's a whole concept about who I think my brother is and what, where safety would lie. I could see all that in where safety might lie in a family constellation. And family, quote unquote, obligation, the play in consciousness with family obligations. And I think I mentioned, my sister said that, my spirit is my family. No, it can't be that. That's a play in consciousness. And so amazing this morning, Jesus was showing me some things I hadn't actually seen in Lucy. Isn't that movie just, every time, it was like Kelly was saying, there's like something new that he shows that's so profound. And he was showing how, very interesting, in the first part, after this blue stuff that seems to be inside of her, it's the symbol of a gift from spirit that we don't want. So she takes it out. See, she takes it out of her belly. The blue stuff's not doing anything. It was a decision in mind. But like when we first start deciding and looking, it's like, oh, I want this out of me. I don't want to have, you see, it's a symbol. Push away the spirit, take it out at gunpoint. because I'm going to die. This will kill me. See, the spirit is going to kill me. So about midway toward 2/3 in the movie, and she's starting to as this just the symbol of the release of the desires, the death wish from the subconscious to rise into awareness and the unification of consciousness. She goes into the bathroom from the plane, and it's like, oh, I'm dissipating. And like we said yesterday, that is the release. She's eating it. Do you see? She's taking the food of the spirit. That was symbol of taking the food of the spirit, starting to accept function. And by the end, she's taking it IV. Because you're just going, give me it. Jesus, I'm taking as much as you can give me. I'm going all the way, and you can hear, I need this, she said, to crack the cells, but really to release the fullness into infinite light. She knew it was the way to light as a symbol of the spirit. And the hilarious part is all the other beings are fighting, trying to keep the blue drug, and killing and murdering. And there's the blue drug right there that takes you right to infinite. And it's just like a bomb's going off outside, but she's focused on one thing: infinite function. Let it all go off. To see what does not change in the play of consciousness. So it's just looking with him. And some of these things will fall away naturally. They'll just fall away because the only focus is on God and his kingdom. And it seems to the ego, oh, that's going to be limiting, and I have to that's the play. Infinite is limiting. How does that work? It doesn't work that way. Consciousness plays to experience God is the trip to hell. Unless we step through that, and prompts are the trip to hell. And unless we look directly to see this can't be, our function here is recognition and celebration of supreme happiness. And you'll see that your family is used by spirit to see what's true instead of holding on to the false identity. And then you're grateful. Because when you're embroiled with them, you can't see yourself as who you are, and you can't see them as the light that they are. I need to be with my family. Now, you'll hold them in concepts. You'll hold them in the thought of death with you. Is what you're doing. The you, that's what the I wants to do. I'm going to go to this Christmas holiday and hold my family and everyone in it with me in hell, basically. That it's Christmas and all the packages get opened, and we hold ourselves in hell in Christmas time through the distractions instead of the peace that we are. And we know, and it's known. I'm having people, beings write me and say, I'm choosing directly, but it's, it's out on the table. Yeah, I'm choosing hell instead of the prompt. So we can see that it is a choice. The desire for the experience of choice. Families are part of the choice mechanism. The choice to say no. There's nothing good. Jesus doesn't judge families, but consciousness plays to use a family constellation And we can see it here, how when Jesus chooses the family, you get a family that's beyond this world. That's what this constellation is. It's beyond the world. You can ask him, Jesus, yes, because he chose it. He puts together the constellations that point to infinite. See, we choose the I chooses a constellation based on, do I like them? Do they irritate me? Do they share the same things? It tries to find sameness through common ways the consciousness likes to play. Consciousness likes to play in, I like them because they'll go golfing with me. I like them because they never argue with me. See, there's a because. As Buji says, I love you because you are. There's no conditions. See how many conditions there are in family relationships. How many roles. As Lori was writing, she was seeing, and how she was using her family to deny life, to stay trapped. So we just look at, there may or may not be a change that's helpful. Jesus is saying that in a lot of cases there is very helpful for a change, because we use that as an excuse not to look deeply, those family distractions, not to look deeply at who we really are. Because we have family, quote unquote, obligations. Obligations around, it can be anything, obligations around husbands. I mean, a real hook is children. It can be used in purpose, but a lot of times, and you can hear beings who that were guided to step away from those relationships for a time. They could see how they were trapped. They had trapped themselves and made that choice to prevent them from looking deeply. So that's just talk to Jesus about it. Am I choosing that to prevent myself from going deeply? Or the mind function? Or did I choose, is this divine expression? That's always the only question. Because the world, boy, you step away from children, or, oh, that's just, what have you done? No, it's to see that it serves them, serves the whole. But boy, think of the ruckus in this world over that. Such a ruckus. I thought it was a ruckus too. I thought you were going to hell for sure if you quote unquote abandon your children or whatever. Abandon, see that word right there? You stepped away for the purposes of seeing what's true and how it's judged. So if any of us judges it, then we're just sent ourselves to hell. We don't know. Only Jesus knows what's most helpful. So then that's the other thing you have to get past is, what will people think of me if I see? It's another play. It's that play within consciousness. It's definitely a change of mind to come around, because family was such a big thing here. And, parents not always being with their children, never being left. It's playing out. It's how consciousness plays loss. That there's some kind of loss. And then we'll trap ourselves in an obligation and in a responsibility. It's Jesus's responsibility. Ask him, is it your responsibility? It takes a lot of focus, this. If truly the call of the heart is to go ask Jesus. Otherwise, it's spread out on a timeline of hell, basically. And sometimes that just can't be fulfilled with the way families play. that addiction to family constellations. You can ask them. You just ask them, Jesus, is my time that I spent with family part of the addiction that I have? Or am I seeing them as the Christ? Is this the fastest means to the recognition and celebration of them as part of me? You just have, this is just a conversation you can have with him about it, because he'll talk to you about everything. He'll tell you what's most helpful. We don't tend to always follow because we like it our way and we like the little constellations. And our only function really is to see no error and to accept the assignments. You can do anything that I ask. So if he's asking, just go for it, because the ego is going to play sacrifice and loss, and let it play. Just see through it with Jesus. See if it's true. Opportunity to see the relishing of judgment. We belong to God in his kingdom. And just see, ask him, Jesus, can I ever be supremely happy without you being my primary relationship? You can ask him. He may put together relationships that seem horizontal, but the purpose of that, as he says, is to go holy relationship, to see no differences, to clear specialness. You can ask him, Jesus, is the family relationships that I'm having now, am I using those for specialness? Am I using those to pretend that death is real? Am I in full function in the constellation of the family, quote unquote, that I've put together? Or is this the constellation you would have for me right now? That's what the ego doesn't want to look at. Doesn't want to look at preferences for constellation. That's how powerful our mind is. Our mind, the mind, will just pull in a constellation of beings that reflect the death wish without seeing it, without being able to see it. That's why we have mighties, and we're going deep on chapter 20, because it'll get really clear. Chapter 20 will help kind of lift out the amazing grace. I was blind, but now I see more clearly, where I'm holding myself hostage to a concept of myself. And, he continues to remind me, which has been really helpful. Go to him on everything. See, because the reflections in the world is not where it is. It's in mind. It's with him, asking him, and let him interpret every single thing. Is this your interpretation, Jesus? So some kind of upset comes up over family. Is this your interpretation? But I could see those plays. You start to see them, wanting to please my mother, quote unquote. She's getting older, or I talked to her on the phone. Well, your brother comes over to take care of you. See, that's the ultimate trust, that Jesus has this handled. And you'll see that you'll be in so much higher level of service with all the constellations of beings, your family included. In a way that you can't even imagine. Because you're who you are, you're in the natural state of being. rather than in the state of wasing, living in the past. See, families are those constellations we put together so we can live in the past. And I saw it, I've talked about it. The family reunions, go to family reunions and you'd be at breakfast talking about lunch and talking about dinner. And the last breakfast that we had, or, because the reunions continued for 50 years, well, more than 50 years now, probably since the 40s. So now that's 70 years of family reunions and going to every one. And I thought that was horrific. Like if a family member didn't show up, where were your priorities? A doubt thought about identity. That if a family member's missing, love is missing. See that little play in there? And then all the fights in consciousness over who goes where for Christmas. Whose family are you going to be with this Christmas? You're coming with my family? How can you possibly go with it? See that whole play, love is lost, certain bodies there. That's why you start to say, this is just easier to follow the prompts. Stay out of that. That's a get out of jail free card right there. And you see, ultimately, like I could hear it from Jesus. There's a being saying, I'm going to go spend time with my family Christmas. And he was telling me. So I said, you don't even want to be with your family. Your heart's not in that. It's not your heart. Because of the roles, and identification so strong. We have to see it and accept it. So what a great topic, Dyra, for this holiday season, where we think it's a holiday, but it's a hologram. It really is. Everyone wants a happy holiday card. That's what you want it with the and the images of the little Christmas tree with the coming in on the sleigh and jumping off the sleigh and hugging all the family members. And it's a beautiful scene. But it's as long as the belief in a family constellation is where heaven is, you'll be in hell. In the imagery. I had a dysfunctional family. That gets to be hilarious. A dysfunctional family. I had dysfunctional consciousness addiction. That's when you start seeing. I was addicted to consciousness. I was addicted completely to unhappiness. I asked Jesus, do I have a play? Is the holiday season often a big play in the addiction to unhappiness and pleasure and pain? An addiction to pleasure. The pleasure comes once a year when all the family, you see, when the bodies come together. He's trying to give us a happy God thought, the 24/7 supreme happiness. Consciousness doesn't want to see the happy holograms here. And that the only happiness is the happy holograms. It's not a Merry Christmas. Consciousness does not want a Merry Christmas. It pretends like it's a Merry Christmas. It really wants the play of suffering. Until we see and admit the God thought that we're that and we don't want it, we can't be free. And to really look deeply at this play and just see it as a play. I mean, Jesus isn't judging us. He doesn't judge us if we go with our family, go on a holiday. We're judging ourselves. We're creating the scenarios that give us the opportunity for self-judgment. Now, come on. How is it? And then telling Jesus, you're trying to take my family away. It's sacrificing infinite love for a constellation, for a concept. So just talk to him about the family. That's all. He'll help us be clear of when it's helpful and when we're in service to God. You can go to see your family and be totally in service to God too. So there's no limitation on it. But when you start to see, like, we go home and there was like this route wanting comfort. Like, comfort was about going back to mom's house and opening up the refrigerator doors. You have to sit there and make a beeline. That was comfort. You see, you can't get comfort in that. It's funny. It's a play. It's okay, you know? But we just stay in the play until we just look and say, okay, I see, I'm in the play. I'm, like Lori wrote, I'm seeing that I'm using my family. I'm using that constellation, keep myself trapped in smallness for powerlessness. So you can ask Jesus. That's a good question, you know, because we can all talk to him. Jesus, am I using my family constellation for powerlessness? Will you show me how I'm using my family for powerlessness? To play powerless? That's a deep dive. And I thank you for it, Jesus, and Dyer for the questions. So we're looking at, I think we're on maybe 364 now. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's tomorrow. It's no.
Yeah, tomorrow's New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Okay, 365. This holy instant I would give to you. Be you in charge. Yeah, looking at family constellations is putting Jesus in charge of everything, because it's a boasted gift. It's a boasted gift of the ego. Safety and comfort. See how the power of the God constellation, and you see it. It was like Lucy yesterday. She walked in and she couldn't relate. You don't want to relate that way anymore. You just won't want to. It's like, it's just no. You know, again, it looks like it's coldness. Well, she's not relating to her. She's not relating to her, but she's no longer horizontally relating. She's seeing in wholeness. See, she saw her friend. What was most helpful wasn't to totally horizontally relate with her friend when she walked in that room. Friends talking about things, all these, she could relate to her in the service. What was most helpful, where she could see it was most helpful for her friend to go to the doctor because she's in liver failure. In that can be what's most helpful. And because of her recognition and communication, and starting to be in full communication, and the communication with all that is super consciousness, then that information, when it's used in purpose, is so powerful. It's acceptance of divinity. So that's an expression of acceptance of divinity. Boom, right there. Go see a doctor. You're in liver failure. And you start to know things that you can't possibly know. But again, it's used in service. It's not a parlor trick, because you can play parlor trick with those things too. You know, come over and I'll just show you where all your diseases are. That's an unhealed healer, actually, unless it's in full guidance. Like on everything, I ask Jesus, like Dyra texts me, okay, Jesus, is this in full service talk about, or for Dyra and I to join on family, or however that appears? Is this in function? He says, yes. Okay. For I would follow you. I would follow you Father in service to the whole. And I don't know what that looks like. So Jesus has to tell me, like, is this in service to the whole? Is this divine expression? I'm seeing that every day. I need him to tell me what divine expression is. What's expression of divinity? In wholeness and service to the whole, which is supreme happiness, serving the whole. For I would follow you, certain that your direction gives peace. See, Lucy moved into her certainty, the certainty, not my certainty, his certainty, the certainty that comes from the movement of the divine. It's that certainty of divine, all that is. But it's not the certainty. Certainty of the world is like a grab. It's trying to get certainty again through these family constellations, or through a work environment, or through a job, or through money, or through. It's like you start to see it's a holding on or pushing away for certainty. It's going to try to push something like isness. Just isness is the ground of being. It's the ground of what is. And then that voice comes through right in that, right when it's needed. You'll know. I mean, I ask them all the time. I'll just say, is this you talking to me? And is this something I need to know? Is this you? I'm checking in. So you can correct me if it's not, or if there's something, because we'll see how much we like being wound in those little thought eddies. The little back eddies. And then and then when he tells me I can drop it, it's a relief. Okay, I don't need to know. He's telling me right now, I'll bring your attention to it. And it seems to take a little time to kind of, quote unquote, have trust that he's going to pop it right in. But you have more and more experiences where it pops in. And then you start to see it, because I remember like one time walking down the street and it's like, I hadn't even thought about my phone. It's like, okay, get your phone. You need to update your phone. Okay, but then if you don't hear him on it, at a point you'd go, well, Jesus, you didn't tell me about your phone. Well, I can hear him right now saying it, and I already knew it. It wasn't that important. See, he's bringing the things that are important, and it's not in our timing, it's his timing. Like when he knows that he's just teaching timing. He knows what that timing is, so we can just rest back and you don't go like, Jesus, when are you going to tell me which movie it is? It's just, when the timing comes, it's going to, it like pops in. And that way, it's just that development of the relationship, the development of trust that he has it handled. And then we just be who we are and speak his words, and that's it. I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. You see, and that was a symbol in that bathroom. And Lucy's in the bathroom on the plane, and it seems like she's dissipating. That was a release. And now she's going to eat as much of that blue stuff as she can eat. Because she's certain that his direction gives me peace. You see, that was a symbol of his direction. She knew where to go. His direction. Peace. Amen to that, Jesus. And if I need a word to help me, he will give it to me. Jesus is the only peace, knowing you'll give me the word. If I need a thought, that he will also give. Boy, relaxing into that one. Jesus, let's ask him, if I need a thought, will you give it to me? It's breaking the addiction to thought. And if I need but stillness and tranquil open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of him. Jesus, if I need but stillness and a tranquil open mind, these are the gifts I will receive from him. That's the kind of happiness that comes from that. It'll put you on the floor. And we need to be put on the floor. That's what I'm saying. I know I needed to be put on the floor, have my feet right at Moody's feet. What a symbol. They don't do that anymore. I thought it was pretty, I don't know about this head on the kiss those feet. Huh. Jesus said, you do well to kiss the feet of every one of your brothers. And it's just a symbol of breaking that arrogance of the no to God. That humbling. It's a continual humbling. Every time it's like, I think I got this, it'd be, we need that. I could see it in the play of consciousness. Because we like to push it to the edge and hold on to that arrogance. Arrogance, it's innocence in arrogance, but arrogance is face of innocence. Arrogance is just fear wrapped up in I'm better than you, or better than God. You know, I know something. Some beings say, I got a slap down. But they know it's the most helpful way. It's not that God slaps us down. God's not slapping us down. We're slapping ourselves down to wake up. Jesus doesn't slap us down. It's just that arrogance that's going to pop out and give an experience that, so we can see it's not working. That arrogance not working. Innocence is the only thing. We got to be on our trikes. Be ye like little children. We're on the little trike, the little infant. You'll see how happy you are when you start asking Jesus questions like a child. Like just not knowing. Like really learning what Christmas is for the first time, and just go really into just that. Because there's that wanting to know energy, and even taking Jesus's word and going, and I know about this. And staying in the child, staying as the innocence when you're asking. And you'll just see how powerful that is. Be open mind. And these are the gifts I will receive from him. He is in charge by my request. Jesus, are you in charge by my request? And is this supreme happiness when you're in charge by my request? Ask him. And will you show me where I don't want you to be in charge? He's going to tell you. That's my function. And he will hear and answer me because he speaks for God, my Father. Jesus, do you speak for God? He says you speak for God when you listen for me. Listen to me. My Father and his Holy Son. That holy, your holiness. Consciousness is holiness, denying that it's holiness. The play of denying holiness, denying wholeness. He says, Jesus says, I'll show you. Just ask me, I'll show you. Will you show me the God thought? Ask him. You are the God thought. It's all you can be. It's the only thing that's real. You can ask him. Is the God thought the only thing that's real? Jesus, do I not want to be the God thought? That's all of consciousness now. But he'll work with us to release all those desires below the level of awareness, not to be what we are, which is the God thought. That's all there is. Thank you, Jesus. Infinite. It's all is well. He says, all is well. You stepped into your holy function now. And you know there's no going back. You know, we talked about that. We laughed about that. Oh, you see, sometimes you like really want to back out like so badly. But then you see, no, there's no place but this. It's too late. You know too much. We've seen too much now. Now we got to go. It's like Lucy, I'm going all the way. So we're strapping on our seat belts together and going all the way. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, brothers.
Hi, David. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Let's join together in the light of God's love with Jesus. Today's lesson, 364 in A Course of Miracles, is this holy instant would I give to you. Be you in charge, for I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. The desire given from the lesson is, Jesus, do I have a desire below my level of awareness to deny the value of God in charge? Jesus, in honesty of God, do I have the desire to deny the value of God in charge?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. If Jesus reveals to you that you have a desire below your level of awareness that you are valuing more than the love of the Father, admit the desire and ask for a miracle. Jesus, do I value the desire to deny the value of God in charge more than I value the love of God? Yes.
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 Jesus, am I ready for the miracle on this desire? Or is there more to see?
More to see.
More to see.
More to see.
More to see.
Jesus, will you show me that the desire to deny the value of God in charge does not have the value that I think it does?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Jesus, have I accepted a miracle on this desire? No.
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 There can be many miracles on the way to fully releasing a desire. as Jesus moves us deeper into the hidden corners of the mind. Jesus, am I complete with this desire to deny the value of God in charge? Or do I need to go even deeper and look further with you?
Deeper.
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 Jesus, do I value the desire to deny the value of God in charge more than I value the love of God? Yes.
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 Jesus, am I ready for the miracle on this desire, or is there more to see?
More to see.
More to see.
More.
More.
More to see.
Jesus, will you show me that the desire to deny the value of God in charge does not have the value that I think it does?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Jesus, have I accepted a miracle on this desire?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No. No.
No.
There can be many miracles on the way to fully releasing a desire. As Jesus moves us deeper into the hidden corners of the mind. Jesus, am I complete with this desire? Or do I need to go even deeper?
Deeper.
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 Jesus, do I value the desire to deny the value of God in charge more than I value the love of God? Yes.
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 Jesus, am I ready for the miracle on this desire?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Yes. Jesus, will you show me that this desire does not have the value that I think it does? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Jesus, have I accepted a miracle on this desire?
Yes.
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 There can be many miracles on the way to fully releasing a desire as Jesus moves us deeper into the hidden corners of the mind. Jesus, am I complete with this desire to deny the value of God in charge? Or do I need to go deeper? Complete.
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 Jesus, will you show me that this desire does not have the value that I think it does? Yes.
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 Jesus, have I accepted a miracle on this desire?
Yes.
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 Thank you, Jesus, for this miracle. And we will now practice speaking the voice for God by sharing what Jesus tells us to say about what we have learned in this session, if we feel prompted. Anything he wants us to remember, or where he's revealed heaven and hell have been flipped upside down. And remember that every share is helpful for the healing of the whole mind. So if anyone is feeling a prompt to share, we would truly love to hear what Jesus taught you.
He's showing me how how much I love wrestling with God for control. Absolutely. It started out seeming intractable. I could, however, what he then said to me was that, Mary, you know how this goes with you. You want to put the brakes, both brakes on. And then if you're learning to trust me so that you begin allowing me to take your feet off the brakes. And it's not something you have to do. It's something I do, and you're trusting me to do that. So be with that and allow me to do that for you. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Is anyone else hearing a prompt to share?
Yeah, I'll share. I had a lot, I got a lot out of this today. I feel there was a few things that happened prior that really helped. Was I spent some time with Kay yesterday in our psychotherapy class for a short bit of time, but I really watched her dedication to her guidance in a situation she was going through an experience. And I think I really took it in to a deep level. And I really admired it, her stance in it all. And then I listened again, I re-listened to the satsang this morning, and it was very powerful, as well as the shares were really great. And then I had an experience this morning. It was just a glimmer of something, but it's just, I looked at something the way I look at it every day. But there was this undercurrent of, I wanted to see it that way. It was a strong, I could feel the desire that I wanted to see it the way it was showing up. And I noticed it immediately, like this desire. So I thought, oh, that's very interesting. I hadn't even looked at the lesson at this point, but and then the lesson is well, what I got out of that, seeing that's exactly the way I wanted things to see. So I could see that I could actually Jesus showed me I could put my fingers in this crack of light that I could see there, that I was wanting to see it the way it was. And I could open this crack louder, like wider, and I could see more. So I was really delighted in that. And then Mary's share, when Mary said, wrestling with God for control, I thought, bingo, that's exactly what I've been doing. So, wow, did I get a lot out of this today? Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Jesus.
Thank you so much, Martha. Beautiful. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll speak. Jesus has been showing me and showed me again today that to put God in charge, I believe, would be devastating for me. He says, you so think that your power comes from having control in your own world. And yeah, and you truly believe God will punish you for your sin of abandoning him. But he said, you are nothing more than the prodigal son in this dream, and God is waiting with open arms for you to awaken and come home. To see that the power that you're gripping and holding on to is the power to stay in hell and nothing more. It'll never bring happiness. So let go of it. Let go of it and trust. Just trust me a little bit more, just to show you, continue to show you through your brothers, through the symbols, through the teachings. Just be willing to open up a little bit and allow the light to start seeping in, and you'll begin to see, as you are, that the truth is in your mind with God. It's not out in the world of form. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
So helpful. What I was shown was how much I wanted to be in control. I didn't want God to be the boss of me. And I did hear also about trust. But I also heard that God in charge is my surety and safety. And thank you, everyone, for your shares and your light. And it's helped lift me up this morning. And is anyone else hearing to share?
Okay. Yeah. the flip in the roles, his role and my role, and how I want to reverse those. And he was just saying, see that it's to point to that I want to be in charge, and that there is a charge. It was like using that word, to see, oh, is there a charge around this this role, and then wanting to deny my role in the atonement. So it's like wanting to that flip or that confusion of his role and my role, and wanting to hold on to something, to kind of feel like I'm going to get peace from that. And he's just showing me it's just holding it in the mind. There's nowhere, there's nothing really to grab onto. In an open mind, it's just, there's no holding. So it's just releasing. So then it's like, okay, this is what I want to hold, and then just like handing it over to him and saying, okay, what I can have a miracle instead of this. Like I can just, in the releasing, I'm giving it up, I guess. So the take home was like coming empty handed, and then putting him first above all else. So placing God in the kingdom above all else, and seeing that that's my happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee.
All right. Not wanting to speak, but hearing that I should, so why not? Yeah, this was parallel to a lot of the shares here. Was coming up with this ongoing argument with God about justification for grievances and projections, and so there's a deep intractability around taking responsibility, which seems to be an ongoing theme for me at this moment. And yeah, similarly to what Renee was saying, there was a showing and a realization that what I was trying to do is create a doing process by which I was fixing something that was seemingly wrong outside of myself. But he was saying, no, 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 it's so gentle. Just bring it all back to me. Come into just this innate and latent lovingness, this pure acceptance. It's just the opening and an invitation to bring everything back into that versus a process of outward forcing. And so, yeah, there was just over the course of this a softening as Renee was saying, just putting the truth first, and going from there, just unfolding everything into that. And so still in the process, and we'll continue to do so throughout the day, but it's a nice it was a miracle, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy. And I'm hearing we are complete. Thank you, Jesus, for guiding us to the miracle, and thank you, everyone, for your beautiful shares. And thank you. Have a wonderful day. Oh, chapter 20. Chapter 20. Go ahead, Renee. Did you want to announce it? Or David?
David.
So thank you, Renee. So at 11 o'clock Central, 1 hour, we will be joining again for the Chapter 20 Partner Program, and just sharing any and all experiences, understandings, things that we're learning, the growth we're having, all the benefits of joining directly with a brother one-on-one to look at some of the deepest desires in the mind that are listed in chapter 20 of Jesus and New Covenant. So just under an hour we'll be joining again, and if you can make it, it would be great to see you. Thank you. Love you all.
Love you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jesus.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.